This is regarded as BMW's most reliable engine. You can't see it right now because it's a little dark, but this is the N52. This is my 2006 325i E90. I've owned it since I was like 16 years old. It was my first car, and it did not always look like this, but that's a story to tell on another day. I have a big project coming soon with this car and all my other cars, but that will be dropping probably towards the end of this year. And it really involves like the story, I guess, of all the cars and the story of me, if there is one. The N52 was offered from 2006 to 2011, and it's the last naturally aspirated inline six that BMW made that was later replaced by the N20 and the N55, which are turbocharged. So this is the last, simplest one you can get. It's as simple as it gets. It's a modern, semi-modern BMW. I would consider it modern in my opinion, but then again, I own like old cars, so this is as modern for me as I can get. By now, BMW has made a good amount of inline sixes, and they're starting to get comfortable, and they're wanting to refine their formula. This is when this car came out, the N52. Right after the N52, the N54 came out, which is basically, I would consider it to be the baby version of all of what BMW makes now. The S58, the B58, they all stemmed from the N54. If it wasn't for the N54, we wouldn't have those cars. And that's, I kind of feel like BMW really experimented there. This was just like their safe point, I guess you could say. The turboed ones was really like, they were really like, how would you say this? The N54 had a lot of problems, but it was overly built to the point where people shoot for crazy high numbers, like 600, 700, 800. Non-open block, and I mean, they're just good. That's my favorite line, by the way. They're just good. That's how it is. So let's take a quick drive to my house. It's nighttime, and it's gonna be a little weird that it's gonna turn daytime later, but just trust me, it'll make sense towards the end. So this car makes, the N52 makes 170 to 270 horsepower max stock. It depends how many liters, because there's two versions. I think there's the 2.0 and then there's the other one. So I guess the question is, why do people consider it reliable? My answer is because there's no problems to worry about. Like how I mentioned, they were phased out by the N20 and N55 turbo motors. This car has no turbos. You don't gotta worry about your wastegate rattle. You don't gotta worry about the turbo seals going out. You don't gotta even worry about the high pressure fuel pump. All you gotta worry about with this car is basically maintenance and gaskets. I feel like that's really like the only thing you have to worry about, because besides that, this car has nothing else. Instead of just talking purely on the N52, I feel like what will make this video a little bit more interesting is kind of highlighting the pair between the E9X chassis and the N52 motor. This is the E90, the coupe is the E92, the convertible is the E93. This car is not meant to be fast. You can make it reach 400 to 500 horsepower, and I'll talk about that later on when we get to modifications that you can do to them. But this is not supposed to be a fast car, a fast engine. It's not supposed to be a fast engine. It's just supposed to be an engine that you can rely on. And I feel like it serves its purpose well. So let's head over to the house and I'll show you why this engine pairs so well with the chassis. I'm kind of like hesitant to do pulls at nighttime now. I've gotten in an accident with the E36 a while, like it was around February, and I'd rather not get into an accident again, so yeah. E90 paired with the N52 is perfect in the sense of reliability. So first, let's look at the suspension that I have on my car. as you can see, it's pretty simple. All I have done suspension wise is BC Racing coilovers, the ultra low versions, and that's about it. The front arms have been refreshed, and besides that, nothing else has been touched. And this car is pretty good, like just roaming around the city, like the little curves and everything. And that's what makes this great, and this generation in general really good. Specifically because in the rear, in past generations, like the E36 over there, the E46, and I don't know if the E30, I have to do research on that, but those two other generations, you have to weld in subframe reinforcements. This car, on the other hand, nothing. You can just drive it. You can just do M3 suspension upgrades, and they're perfect. And that's why I think this model paired with the N52 is just perfect. Whether you have the automatic or the manual, it's just a good formula for driving around and having fun with it. Anyways, let's get this back together and let's go take this car for a spin again. Alright, new angle unlocked, boys. This is just gonna be pure driving right here, man. Gotta get sensation. The reason why I say that the N52 paired with this chassis is really good is because it really lets you experience the full capabilities of the N52. Why did it shift? What the fuck? On my phone. Oh no. And you see what I mean? You can really just rev the car out like all the way, and it sounds so good. And it's like, that's what makes this car so great. Like, it's pretty freaking reliable. And the fact that it's just like, it being the last NA that BMW made, the last inline 6 car that they made, that's NA. It's just like, this was their, I wouldn't say their peak, but I mean, they went crazy here, man. And it's like, this car you can really just rev out, and it's pretty responsive, honestly. And I wish I had paddles. But you can just really hear that this car has a lot to offer, specifically with this chassis. I mean, just with a couple more, like, the suspension feel wonderful. I mean, even right now, it feels great. As you can see, I just hit a bump, and it handled like nothing, man. I'm gonna give y'all a little something so y'all can really hear what this engine sounds like. This car, you can really just make scream. I'm about to give y'all some intake noises and some exhaust sounds, so prepare your ears. As much as I did, because I just rewatched it and the exhaust sounds way nicer than I thought. I mean, I would rarely really rev this car out. I mean, I do, but not to like a crazy extent. Like I never sit down and just like rev it like crazy. Maybe like twice, but like as much as I did it for y'all, yeah, I hope y'all like that. If something like that isn't really your style, like being loud and I guess obnoxious, this car is great. Before this car even had an exhaust, it was completely stock and it had nothing, and it would literally sound like the car wasn't even turned on. But once I got that exhaust, it really like I could really feel what the car was doing and hear, like listen to every single thing. And one thing that I don't like about this car though, that is specific, I don't know about the other chassis, but I know these, they don't come with a temp gauge. They just have the miles per gallon. On an N54, for example, this would be your temp gauge and it would just have it right here. You can swap a gauge in, like the whole thing, and then program it in. But honestly, I feel like that's something I would do down the road. And if you have an automatic like I do, the good old automatic, I mean, look at it. You can always tune these with XHP. And I really feel like that would wake this car up. This car doesn't even have paddles for once, but I just use this to shift whenever I feel like it. But if this had paddles, I feel like it would just be so awesome if I just did like a transmission tune. I think this car is like perfect the way it is, like stock. I know it seems weird that I have like a lot of stock cars, but the N54 makes up for it. Will make up for it. This car later on down the line will be completely different. Not entirely from what you see now, but it definitely will change a bit. And although this car is pretty reliable, this one has 172,000 miles. It's about to reach 173. I'll show you guys the work that's been put into it. Ooh, it's hot. The most I've done with this car has been the starter, the crankshaft position sensor, the front main seal, and that's it. That's all this car has done to it. Everything else is stock, and it's not had any problems besides that. The main problems with these is probably like the same old as the other BMWs that were from the same generation. So the oil filter housing gasket, the oil pan, the rear main seal, the front main seal, like the same ones that I just listed to that I've done already. I think one main issue with the early models of these cars, specifically before 2008, this is a 06, is lifter tick. I'll show you guys a clip of what it sounded like when I cold started it this morning after not driving it for like a week or a couple weeks. And you can listen to it now, and it's freaking quiet. These cars like to be driven. They do not like sitting around, just sitting there, waiting patiently. And that's what I do a lot with this car sometimes. I just let it sit there. So let's go take it for a rip again. Now, as I was saying, these cars you can keep completely stock. But obviously someone's gonna buy one of these and be like, yeah, what can I do to an N52? So what can you do to an N52? And is it even worth your money? An N52, I'd say, is, it depends who you're asking, but 9 times out of 10, someone's gonna be like, don't put money into an N52. Why? Because even if you do put a lot of money into it, the most power you're probably gonna make is like 400 to 500, maybe 600 if you're pushing it at that point, and you're gonna be like built motor and it's like at that point people question, why would you do that when you can just get an N54 or basically any other engine and put the same amount of money that you're putting into the N52 and just getting a ton less power? Why? Uniqueness. And N52, there is some mods that you can do, like just bolt-ons, like headers and intake. Maybe like if you want to count the transmission too, the transmission tune. And I think if I remember correctly, MILVs is like basically done on the head of the block. So I don't know what specifically it helps with, but people do it, and honestly I've did like a good amount of research like a couple years ago, because I was like, what can I do to my car to make it faster? And people were like, I couldn't even find information on it. The most I could find was the supercharger kit from, I think it cost you around like $5,000 to $6,000. And I mean, at that point, you can push like a bit of boost, maybe like 5 pounds at most, 5 to 6, like something like very little. And you can get like a couple more horsepower and the car will sound really good. I mean, it almost like reminds me of how the M3 version, the V8 sounds when you put a supercharger on it. Makes sense. I mean, they're both NA, but that's besides the point. These cars are not meant to be having a lot of power, and the engine is just, I would say, reliable and just fun the way it is. You could probably track this car, but I think the most mods you could do to an N52 wouldn't be on the N52, and it would be on the chassis, because that way you could really just enjoy the full limit of the car, and it would just be way better. And I guess that brings us on to our next point, is why do I own an N52 E90 that costed me, I think it was like $4,000 when I bought it from Facebook Marketplace, some college student. The real reason is because I put too much money into it when I was younger. I was like 16 at the time, and I guess it was COVID, and I kind of was starting to get into cars, and this was like, I guess like my starting point, you could say. The plan was, from the beginning, was to get an M Sport kit. You know what? How about we just walk around the car a little bit? All right, walk with me, guys. The plan with this car was never for it to be painted with the stock body kit. It was always to have an M Sport kit, and I kind of got pressured by my parents to do it, so dumped like $4,000 to $5,000 just into the paint. And then the wheels, that was my first pair of wheels that I ever bought. This car is, honestly, the color's like really unique, and people most of the times think it's wrap, but no, I'm committed to the look, man. But that also means I have to redo everything again. The main thing I want to do with this car, and my future plans for keeping it, is actually not to keep the N52. I thought about doing a supercharger kit just because it would keep like the aura of what this car is, which is a 325. But I feel like I would low-key be chasing the power that any other engine would bring, and that's why I plan to LS swap this car. When the car blows up. And when is the car gonna blow up? I have no idea, and let me tell you why. It's an N52. Who knows when this car will blow up? It could blow up right now, or it could blow up like 200,000 miles later. Let's hope it's not when the M54 is being worked on, though, or any other car. I want to just dedicate myself to this build, because I feel like once it's finished, it would look really, really freaking cool. In like last video, I guess I'll talk about, do I recommend this car? I mean, do I recommend having an M52? And my honest answer is, it depends on what you're looking for. I guess if you want like, I mean, come on, just look at it, bruh. I don't know if it's just me or what, but I just love the E90 chassis so much. And I feel like anything like that's around the same year, it just does not come close to how classic these cars are. These are just they're so good looking, man. If you want what I consider this to be BMW's is like freaking, I mean, it literally is their last inline six. If you want a piece of history, this is the car for you. And if you want something reliable, this is also the car for you. And if you want to put in work, sometimes this is the car for you. This car is great. I mean, I don't really have necessarily any complaints about it. It's served me well, and I've barely put any money into it. The money that I have put into it was because I wanted to, not because I had to. And I mean, it's just served me good, man. I rarely drive this car, but when I do, it really brings a smile to my face, and that's why I love it. I mean, this car always catches eyes. It's probably the color, but the N52 is an awesome motor, and I think it really fits this car well. It suits it nicely. My glorious 325i. Who would dump this much money into a 325i? Only one person. Me. Just kidding. There's tons of people that have done crazier things with these cars. And this is just the beginning. But this car's sick, man. And if you are considering one, let this be the video that makes you either buy it or not buy it. But the exhaust on its own probably would make you buy it. By the way, if you want to know what the exhaust is, if I remember correctly, it's just the muffler and one resonator is deleted, and that's it. These cars are great. And honestly, this is my favorite spot too. And what better place to bring it to than here. But anyways, you guys, I hope you learned something new today, and I hope you enjoyed it. I need to record the intro because I kind of did everything backwards. So hopefully it's not too out of place for you guys. But the N52 is awesome. Don't sleep on it. Fast-wise, yeah, sleep on it. It's not fast. But it is a pretty reliable car. Motor, I mean, sorry. The N52 paired with the E90, beautiful, bruh. I mean, I'm telling you. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, the exhaust, or anything, and you learned anything new about an N52, somewhat, or you just kind of enjoyed me, you know? You just enjoyed your time being in the whip with me, then hit that like, subscribe, and stick around because I got something big coming for you guys soon. Something that I've been wanting for 5 years, and I finally obtained one. And it sounds like it's crazy, but it's more humble than y'all think. It's nothing crazy like the N54 or this. It's something that I mentioned in my last video, so be ready. Be there or be square. Peace out. See you guys till the next one.